Members of the press, thank you for your patience. Now let's welcome Foreign Minister Wang Yi. First, we'd like to ask the Foreign Minister to share some remarks.
Friends, the Security Council just held a high-level meeting. The theme was upholding the purposes and principles of the UN Charter and strengthening the international system with the UN at its core. This meeting was initiated by China as the rotating president of the Security Council because we've seen lately the purposes of the UN Charter are being ignored, the basic norms of international relations are being undermined, and world peace and security are in grave danger. At this critical moment, we believe the Security Council must step up. The Security Council must shoulder its responsibility. China's initiative received a positive response from all countries. At the meeting just now, Secretary General Guterres, along with foreign ministers and high-level representatives from over 20 countries, revisited the original mission of the UN. We had a lively and in-depth discussion on upholding, revitalizing, and strengthening the UN, and reached many important consensuses. Please. Everyone agrees that the UN Charter is not outdated. It remains the cornerstone of the international order. The central role of the UN must be strengthened, not weakened, because none of us want international relations to regress to the law of the jungle. We must all uphold the same system, which is the international system with the UN at its core. We all need to follow the same set of rules, which are the basic norms of international relations based on the Charter. Everyone believes that for the UN to play a better role, it must enhance its capacity for action. In particular, the Security Council must take on the primary responsibility of maintaining peace and play its proper role in managing crises. UN agencies must undergo timely reforms to more effectively respond to the common concerns of the international community. Everyone believes that the trend toward a multipolar world is unstoppable. One or a few countries dominating international affairs is no longer in line with the trend of the times. We should firmly follow the path of multilateralism, maintain unity to the greatest extent, oppose division, seek cooperation, resist confrontation, and together inject much-needed stability and certainty into the world. Everyone also believes that current global governance has clearly lagged behind and needs to keep pace with the times, being reformed and perfected. It should reflect the will of all countries in a more balanced way, ensuring equal participation and shared benefits for all. In particular, the representation and voice of the Global South must be enhanced to jointly build a more just and reasonable global governance system. President Xi Jinping timely proposed the Global Governance Initiative last year, which has received broad support from the international community. The day after tomorrow, on May 28th, we will hold a plenary meeting of the Group of Friends of Global Governance here to build new consensus and inject new momentum into reforming and improving global governance. China will also host a Global Governance Forum this fall in Jiang'an, China, a city of the future. We look forward to working with all our friends to discuss the grand plan for global governance. No matter how the international situation changes, China will continue to be a staunch defender of the United Nations, a true supporter of multilateralism, and an active promoter of global governance. Thank you all. Now, open for questions. First goes to CCTV. Hello, Foreign Minister Wang. I am Xu Deji, a reporter from China Media Group. We are seeing voices internationally suggesting that the Security Council's role in resolving differences and ending wars is declining. What is China's comment on this? And what suggestions does China have for the Security Council to better fulfill its duties? Having stood the test of 80 years of change, the Security Council remains the core of the global collective security mechanism and bears the primary responsibility for maintaining international peace and security. Of course, we must also admit that in recent years, the Security Council has been increasingly absent on major hotspot issues. Therefore, to revitalize the United Nations, we must first revitalize the Security Council. To achieve this goal, first, all members of the Security Council must take maintaining peace as their duty, abide by the Charter, uphold justice, avoid seeking selfish interests, and refrain from bloc confrontation. Second, we must increase the voice of developing countries, especially small and medium-sized countries, through reform, and particularly address the historical injustice faced by Africa. Third, we must enhance the objectivity, fairness, and inclusiveness of Security Council proposals. The P5 in particular should play a leading role in this regard. Fourth, the international community should jointly resist various unilateral actions that bypass the Security Council, so that unilateral bullying has no market and no legitimacy. As a permanent member of the Security Council, China is willing to work with all parties to promote better performance of the Council and effectively respond to the expectations of the international community.
Hello, Foreign Minister. It's Valeria Rebecco from ANSA News Agency. So China is both a permanent member of the Security Council and Iran's largest trading partner. And Beijing is reported to be open to taking custody of Iran's enriched uranium as part of a potential deal. So how does China believe the current stalemate can be eased? And also, more specifically, does Beijing think the Security Council should play a more direct role in guaranteeing any future agreement between, of course, Iran and the United States? Thank you so much.
China has been working hard to resolve the current conflict. President Xi Jinping has proposed a 4-point plan, setting a clear course for maintaining and promoting peace in the Middle East. We are maintaining communication and coordination with the main parties involved, as well as key regional and international partners. Our general view is that the sovereignty, security, and territorial integrity of all regional countries must be respected, and civilians and non-military targets must be protected. The safety of shipping lanes and energy infrastructure must be guaranteed. The regulations of the nuclear non-proliferation regime must be upheld. The key to the current situation is the negotiations between the US and Iran, as they are the primary parties involved. At the same time, we support the active mediation efforts by Pakistan and other nations. Just before arriving, I met with General Munir and had an in-depth discussion with him. We also support the efforts being made by both the United States and Iran in this regard. Of course, Rome wasn't built in a day, and resolving long-standing grievances won't happen overnight. But with every step forward in negotiations, there is more hope for peace. The sooner the conflict ends, the fewer civilian casualties there will be. We hope the parties can firmly commit to a ceasefire, continue to work together, and bring peace back to the Middle East as soon as possible. Once this agreement is signed, I believe they'll submit it to the Security Council for discussion and approval, to enhance its legitimacy and authority. Next for Gentleman Dennis. Good morning. Thank you. Dennis Solis with TASS News Agency. I'm wondering, what does China see as the next Secretary General's most important duty in upholding the UN Charter's principles? Thank you. I just had a friendly exchange with the Secretary General. He has served for nearly 10 years, consistently upholding the ideals of multilateralism, maintaining the authority of the UN, working for peace, and speaking out for justice. He has received widespread recognition and praise from the international community. We wish to pay him our highest respects. The next Secretary General is vital to UN reform and the interests of member states. China believes they must meet several key criteria. First, firmly defend the UN Charter's purposes and principles. Second, have extensive political and diplomatic experience in coordination skills. Third, uphold justice on major issues, especially for developing countries. Fourth, steer the direction of UN reform and promote the UN's quality and efficiency. These can be summarized as abiding by the Charter, outstanding ability, fairness and integrity, and accountability and duty. China will work with everyone to participate in the election process for the next Secretary General with a responsible attitude. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Foreign Minister. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I'll wait here for a moment. Thank you for your hard work.